Chris K, you on the line, sir?
Oh, I'm always on the line for you guys.
Yes.
He is the most sincere, sweet
I was glad to see
athlete
Caitlin.
I have ever watched. This thing I've been blessed with. He had.
And the thing is, 10 million for a lot of these, like when we do these contracts, like that's peanuts to the stars of the league. But Chris, for those people, and I love that we got to see Caitlin's reaction fresh, because I saw that soundbite a few times on Good Day Chicago this morning. But put in perspective, a 2-year, $10 million contract compared to some of the biggest stars in the NFL.
I mean, you got to put it like this. And one of the comparisons I'll use is Montez Sweat, who is the star defensive end for the Chicago Bears, right? When he was traded to the Bears in 2023, he also signed like a $98 million extension. I mean, that is quite literally 9 times. Yeah, that was like, I believe that's the figure. I may be a hair off, but even if you're a few $1 million off here, like that is nearly 9 times what Tyson Bagent is going to be making. But I think it pales in the comparison with this idea that, hey, like, whatever contract you sign, your second contract in the NFL is life-changing money. Like, this is life-changing for him, and it's life-changing for a lot of his family members back in West Virginia.
That is, I would love to talk to, obviously now would not be the appropriate time to talk to this young man about it, but like the comparison game. So I've always heard that comparison is the thief of joy, and obviously this guy is above that. I would love to pick his brain about how to stay humble and be happy with what you have.
Yeah, because that's right. Because if he starts playing that game, I'm gonna compare what my contribution to this team versus what I'm making.
Right.
You could make yourself go crazy. But and that's why I think that little clip is hitting home with so many people, Chris. And could you comment just like on how he has performed as backup QB? Because we saw him a few times under Eberflus. Was it Eberflus? Or like we have seen him. Okay, put in perspective how he has performed when he actually has seen playing time.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we've seen is you go back to that 2023 season, and people, and I mean, we were talking about a little bit. We kind of recalled that, like, we don't really talk enough about how in that year he was an undrafted free agent out of Shepherd University, Division II. Now, granted, if you go back to 2002, there have only been 3 Division II quarterbacks: John Kitna, Keith Nolan, Todd Bauman, who have started NFL games, have former Division II quarterbacks. So he was already fighting an uphill battle as it was, and he had impressed a lot of coaches in the Senior Bowl and the pre-draft process and everything like that. But the problem then becomes, well, he's undrafted. The Bears just gave backup money to P.J. Walker that year to back up then quarterback Justin Fields. So then we go to training camp. Tyson Bagent wins the backup job in training camp. They released P.J. Walker. Now here we are. And that year he started 4 games. Won 2 of them. And people will point, well, it was the Las Vegas Raiders. They fired their coach next week. Well, it was the Carolina Panthers. They had the number 1 overall pick in the draft. It doesn't matter. It's hard to win games in the NFL, especially when the odds are stacked against you. But I think the biggest thing about Tyson is when you put a lot of this in perspective, and now you talked about, Caitlin, you mentioned like the other contracts and all the other things that people sign that are just really just dwarf these numbers. But I mean, for a guy like Tyson, like he is the main character in a story that we rarely see in the NFL nowadays. And I think it's so important to think about it that way. He might be backing up Caleb Williams, sure, but he is so well trusted by the Bears as a guy that came in this year who wasn't even the second quarterback. He was battling with Case Keenum, won the job. And granted, Case is missed practice with a leg injury, but the last 2 preseason games, there is no doubt that he went out there and won the quarterback 2 job. And that speaks volumes for a guy that all he does is go out there and work. Ryan Poles said he's the hardest working player on the team, or like the pure hardest worker. And it's showing, especially now in camp, where he's just performing at a high level when his number is called.
Do we know, was his dad there? I'm just so curious about the backstory. Was dad watching? Have we heard from his family at all? I'm sure this is blowing up.
Yeah, I don't believe we heard from his family at all yet, but it wouldn't surprise me if we see that coming out in the near future. I mean, his dad is very much an outspoken support, in support of his son, which granted, like, we love to see that. We love that. But I think at this point we're starting to see the support from the Bears, which I think is the most telling, because when you pay a backup quarterback that much money, it not only does it say like, hey, we believe in you, but like we also believe that you could start anywhere in the NFL. You could start at quarterback, but we want you here. We're going to take care of you under this new coaching staff, which sees the talent that you have and understands the value of having a good backup quarterback in this team.
Can't wait to follow his story. Yeah, Caitlin's got one more. We're getting a wrap, but she's got one more.
Because you said it. So is this more than a typical backup quarterback would make for the first year?
Oh yeah, this is much more, because his signing bonus coming out of college, coming into the Bears from Division II, was only $25,000, which, granted, like that's a lot for us. That's a lot for us.
For the layperson,
non-athletes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes a difference then, I guess, from my perspective.
I'm super curious what the $6 million incentive is, because I'm reading that it could go up to $16 million.
What's the incentive?
Do we know, real quick? Do we know, or is that undisclosed?
It's undisclosed, but I would assume it involves starting a game, winning games, taking the Bears to the playoffs. Right. It's usually like very success related when it comes to incentives. I'm sure it's $6 million is a lot, especially for incentives. But like, just imagine what the incentives are for Caleb Williams' contract.
Right.
Totally.
Oh my.
Oh, I can't wait to follow the story. Chris K, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
My pleasure, guys.
All right,